My name is Michele Valentino, and I have been an election judge for over 20 years. And my polling places have always been one of the highest voter turnouts in Dallas County. So I've seen a lot. I have pretty much run a very smooth election over the years, and I put a lot of effort into that. It doesn't happen by osmosis. And so the few ones that I've had involved behavior, behavior on the part of poll workers. I had a poll worker who was new, and she came into the polling place and conducted herself as if she were a poll watcher and a political activist. And this is something I just will never tolerate. I tell all my people that they have to leave their politics outside. And I've had other situations with voters against voters, voters against poll workers. And a lot of it was discriminatory type behavior. I had two voters outside standing in line, getting into an argument. One, giving racial slurs, okay, to one of the other voters, and so that disrupted things. I dealt with that, and then I had a situation inside the polling place. This was when we had the old type machines, and we had a African American poll worker, okay, helping a white voter. And because the African American poll worker touched the machine, the white voter refused to use that machine. So, and I found my poll worker later in tears over it, which I didn't know that it happened. So I had to deal with that basically. But these things didn't happen very often. And I'm very committed to creating a very positive atmosphere. I'm really big on that, very big on that. And I just won't allow disruptions in the polling place. Those challenges that I just mentioned to you, under the new law, under SB 7, I anticipate that they will be increased dramatically. Last election, the municipal election, I started to see very subtle signs of it, where voters would come in with, well, these machines don't work. My vote in 2020 didn't count, and they stand on their soapbox trying to disrupt the polling place. But I see under SB 7, I see that really dramatically increasing and making my job and my ability as a judge to do my job, to preside effectively over this entire polling place. Now, as far as the criminal liabilities, this is interesting. Notice that there's criminal liabilities for poll workers, but there's no criminal penalties for poll watchers. Yet they gave poll watchers a lot of power, a lot more power. And when I sit back and I look at these criminal liabilities for poll workers, I just have to shake my head. I mean, these people that wrote these laws obviously don't know a thing about what takes place in a polling place. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue on what's involved in being a poll worker. These people deserve a medal. Hello, they deserve a medal. The poll workers are seniors for the most part, many of whom are over the age of 70. They've put in all these years of taking training classes and working elections, all for $11.25 an hour. Now, I ask you, do you really think, okay, that if they pass this law, what's it going to be like to get people to want to work with these criminal liabilities hanging over their head? Are they going to want to hire lawyers? Do they have to carry a liability insurance? I mean, really, uh, is it worth it to them? And it's very intimidating. And quite frankly, I think it's designed to be intimidating. And there's going to be a shortage, I think, of people wanting to work. I had somebody come up to me who said to me that he said, all it's going to take is one poll worker to be sued. And he said, it's going to all come crashing down. He said, they're not going to get anybody to work. To work for an election, you pretty much either have to be retired or very wealthy because working people just can't work during the day like that. This new law is not going to make things better. It's going to make things worse. That's my opinion. Motivated by serving, the idea of serving the voters of Dallas County. That really turns me on, and it always has. And I am an American history buff. I love this country. I love the idea of a democracy. And I will, as personally, bend over backwards to do anything I can to make it better. And that's why I put in 20 years, and it's very rewarding actually. And I think I'm very honored and take a lot of pride in the reputation of my polling place and my staff. I have a wonderful staff. And so it is. It's a very good feeling. Somebody asked me once what I thought patriotism was. And I said, patriotism is the willingness, okay, to be self-governing and to work hard and participate in that process. And I just love the idea. And this is working an election and serving the voters is definitely part of that. My poll watchers actually love me, the ones I've had. They've told me so. And they've complimented me on my polling place, is that they're uninformed, a lot of them. And and it's not easy. Election law is complicated and it's comprehensive. And it's not easy to really know what's legal and what's not legal, you know? So a lot of the times they raise issues that were absolutely dead wrong. And so I'm a judge that carries with me, okay, a copy of the statute. And I have it, marked for different areas. And I actually let them read it. I don't engage them. I let them read it for themselves so they are empowered with information and the truth. So they don't go to the next polling place, okay, and try to do the same thing. With this new law, is I think it's going to encourage a battle of the poll watchers. Going to be, both parties are going to say, okay, you're going to send your people to North Dallas. Well, I'm going to send my people to South Dallas. And they're going to come into these polling places with an agenda and an attitude, and it's going to be partisan, and it's going to create rancor. It's going to, and sometimes violence. I'm sorry, but it's unnecessary. It's totally unnecessary. What I would love to do is to share a lot of the things that I've learned, techniques that I've learned with other poll workers and other judges. And it doesn't matter what party they are. I just want to make the system better. The saddest, most frustrating thing about being a judge is when I have voters come in that were unable to vote because they didn't understand what the rules were. Suppress the ability of citizens of the United States to give their consent. It's the consent. That's where the authority comes from. The consent of the governed. And any act that tries to diminish, limit, slow it down is un-American. It's just that simple. It's not going to make things better. So why do it? Why do it?